Welcome to Wellness is a Way of Life, the podcast for female leaders seeking sustainable energy, clarity, and confidence. I'm Megan Swan, your guide on a journey to mastering wellness as an integrated part of your life. Let's explore personalized wellness strategies that truly resonate with who you are. Welcome back to Wellness is a Way of Life. Today on the podcast, I wanted to talk about something that comes up quite frequently. Most recently, it actually came up in terms of a partner of a client not supporting her in general as an entrepreneur, like really just doubting her ability to create the business, to build something, she wasn't an expert in, etc. And it got me to thinking that this is a common theme also with clients that are trying to change, really just change anything about themselves, whether that's in terms of personal development or change a habit, change their eating style, take on a new identity as, someone who runs or someone who eats plant-based, or of course, like the very hot topic is someone who's sober curious or interested in quitting drinking and what that means in a partnership. So I thought I would first just briefly give you some background on how this has evolved in my own marriage. We've been together for almost 15 years now. And funny enough, I was taking a picture of our breakfasts this morning and, I was Instagramming my smoothie bowl and I didn't take a picture, but we both literally have the same reaction of like absolute disgust of what the other person is eating. And I think it's so important, on the one hand, to really honor that there is no one size fits all, especially between genders and cultures and so many things, body types, blood types, you name it. And just like in what certain foods agree with certain people's systems, and then your actual likes and dislikes. So at the end of the day, what's most important is that there's a level of respect for the other person's choices, right? And so where this kind of gets to be problematic is when I'm working with a client and she wants to optimize something. So whether that's, her confidence in her ability to build a business or expand a part of her business or jump ship from corporate and start a business, or if it's she wants to eat differently, start a new exercise regime, start anything that's going to improve her health and well-being. And she either knows instinctively that her partner's going to be sabotaging on some level, whether it's more from like a selfish point of view, like their partner doesn't want to make these changes or doesn't feel they need to, and doesn't want to feel inconvenienced, versus, there's lots of reasons that people don't want to change. Maybe they don't need to change. It really depends on what we're talking about here, of course. Another really common one. So having completely different sleep or, sex or libido schedules in a partnership can be complicated. So here it's not really about either one of you in the partnership needing to change a habit maybe. But again, coming back to this common thread of respect, it's like, okay, well, we want to meet each other in the middle here as often as possible, or in a nice harmony where we are supporting each other in our ability to get the best quality sleep we can so that we can show up for our work and our family and each other. But also we want to connect when, ideally it feels most in sync for both parties. So what this comes down to is, the classic compromise and carving out an understanding, some boundaries. Maybe it involves a schedule. So if, this also could have to do with certain work schedules, and it's just not necessarily being in choice of the partner that there's a certain time of day that they want to be sleeping and doing other things, and the other partner has a different schedule. It can also be that each of you is in tune to when it best suits you, and that's not in sync. So meet each other in the middle. Part of the time, I would say at least somewhere between a third and 2/3 of the time. I'm really lucky in my partnership in that we're both morning people. We're both, we're our best selves kind of like before 10 p.m. And really, we both like to get up and exercise and get up super early and get a lot done. And there's like a big push energy at the beginning of the day. And I've adapted over the years to the cultural Mexican sort of siesta, which in many parts of Mexico, they don't actually have a nap during the day, but they do tend to take a good hour, if not 2 hour lunch. And that's, connecting over food. It's spending time with family. Maybe it's having like a little bit of a sense of rest and like it's significantly longer than what we would take in the standard North American lunch break. And there is this sense of spaciousness around lunch. And I think that's really valuable. And I've adapted to that over the years where I tend to have my biggest meal of the day now in sort of the later afternoon and often don't have dinner. Or if I do, it's like basically a snack for dinner. And that works for me. And it's honoring also that if I give that spaciousness to myself, then I have like a lot more to give sort of 5 to 9 p.m. in terms of being a kind and patient and loving mother. And sometimes I'll get a little bit of extra work done. Sometimes it's when I'm listening to a book that I want to do, or oftentimes it's when I get to do sort of like more of the relaxing, if you will, design, fun work in my business, things that aren't like writing. Anyway, so the point is, the more that you can have self-awareness on how you want the lifestyle that's ideal for you, honoring and respecting that might not be the same ideal, script or blueprint for your partner. And this doesn't mean that you can't interact, or that it's not going to work, or that you're going to fail changing this habit. What it really means is you just need to be clear first in yourself, like what are the benefits of you making this change in your life? Usually when it comes to things in the entrepreneurship realm, it's, really a deeper drive, a deeper goal that you're trying to accomplish. And, if you're consistently being sabotaged, or there's a real lack of interest in supporting your goals, especially when your goals are to improve yourself or improve your life or improve the life of others. Yeah, it can get to a point where you might need to question, the sustainability of the relationship. Are you what's more important, your optimal well-being or the optimal well-being of the relationship? And this is not an easy question for everybody. It really depends on so many things, the depth of the relationship, the time of the relationship. But I feel that a lot of women are even kind of scared to ask themselves these questions and kind of do this mental or emotional scaling of what's more important. And I think ultimately it really helps you just gain clarity and help you manage expectations on what your priorities are. And ultimately it makes it easier to create boundaries for yourself where you find they're necessary. So to give you a random example, back to food, I have really encouraged and done a lot of positive shifting of how often my family eats plant-based. We've gone through a series of projects and challenges where we were all in on plant-based. And then at the end of the day, I think what's important is to really just be plant-forward. Eat as many fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and legumes as you can, whole grains, etc. And the rest has found, this beautiful balance. And we're very good in my home making meals where everybody's happy. I can basically eat plant-based 90% of the time. And the kids also feel like there's that level of choice and respect for everybody's choices. And I think that's important at the end of the day. Obviously, there's a little bit of guidance in terms of helping people make choices that lean towards their health and wellness. So what it comes down to at the end of the day, I think, is appreciating it's a real art. There is an art to communicating your values and your deeper why on whatever lifestyle choice that you are prioritizing and trying to improve so that whoever it is, whether it's, a really important partner in your life, other family members, the greater public, whoever it is you feel like you need to be communicating this to, or sort of balancing or explaining yourself, to do it in a way that's deeply respectful and honoring that everybody is on a different path. There literally is no one size fits all. So even if you truly feel at this point that you're an expert on your personal experience and needs and diet and exercise routine and all of that, like, first of all, I caution you, because I guarantee you over the course of decades and different phases of your life, it's going to change. And you won't always feel like you're an absolute expert. You're always kind of putting in this trial and error. And, I truly believe our bodies are designed to ebb and flow with nature more than we allow them to, or are being taught by mainstream big industry wellness and health, if you will, that there's these very strict rules and you just tick these boxes and everything will be perfect. That's just not how it works. So it's really about honing your intuition and your ability to understand your own system and how it fluctuates, and in turn, what are the things that support you as it fluctuates, and be willing to try new things. And with that, when you are presenting your, priority or your desired lifestyle choice in that moment in time, in a way that's maybe offering an educational side note to somebody who might not know that about what they're choosing, but ultimately, it's just not helpful to anyone when we're making the other person, our partner especially, feel bad about their choices. And I will go as far as say, even when we're talking about something that is in the serious addiction category, from my personal experience in my family and personally and with friends, shaming people does not inspire change. It just does not. You really need to meet people at a mutual love and respect energy, and hope and really capture that mutual interest and appreciation and build on that. Boundaries, sure. Maybe I'll give you an example. In our relationship that's been established, my husband still enjoys a few bottles of wine with friends at times. And the rule that's been established is my number one priority is quality sleep, in terms of, at certain hours of the day, my priority is my quality of sleep. And therefore, amazing he wants to do that. And fortunately, we have options in terms of sleep arrangements, and he respectfully will sleep on the couch or sleep in a bit different bedroom, because inevitably, although we've largely solved his sleep apnea issue over the years with mostly plant-forward diet and exercise, we are still in a place where when he has a few glasses of wine, inevitably he's going to snore, and then I don't get a good night's sleep. And so it's not fair to me that he's making those choices. So I have set that boundary, and he respects it, and it works well for us. Maybe that sounds crazy to you, but I invite you to explore other ways that maybe your partner's crossing your boundary that feel like disrespect in a way that maybe you haven't called it that yet, and see what you can do to really create a functional, kind, compassionate boundary that is, something that both of you understand and are willing to honor. So if you have any specific questions, I know I plugged and played all over all sorts of habits and lifestyles, and also in like the health and wellness sphere, as much as like understanding someone's interest in growing a business and everything that is required in terms of growth mindset and confidence building when you are really operating outside the status quo. At the end of the day, I think one of the most powerful tools, well, two. One, hire a coach. So then you have this really safe space to like bounce your experiences and, have that positive support in communicating your boundaries, but also in keeping going towards these changes that you really want to make. And then find yourself a community. So if you don't have it immediately in your relationship, the support or the interest in making these changes, build yourself. It can just be one friend. It could be an online community of like-minded people that are working towards the same goal. So maybe it's a running club. Maybe it's signing up for plant-based cooking lessons in your community. Maybe it's finding other moms online, for example, that are really interested in their kids eating gluten-free. Like whatever it is that's like a deep priority to you for whatever reason that you're prioritizing your own well-being over the status quo or over your own comfort zone or over, just what you've been doing for the last decade. Find that community and surround yourself with like-minded people to really support you on your journey. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I'm sending you lots of love and optimal wellness. Thanks for tuning in to Wellness is a Way of Life. Are you ready to make wellness a natural part of your routine? Let's stay connected. Go to meganswanwellness.com. Until next time, live well and thrive.